It has been a minute since my last YouTube. I am just walking through Stansted Airport and I have tired eyes. It's been a long day. But I'm on my way back to Galway for a big full circle moment, running the Galway Mastermind this Friday. So I'm going to do a little vlog for the event, keep you up to date, some of the stuff that's happening in the room. I'm excited. This is such a full circle moment. It really is. It's a big moment in, I guess, my entrepreneurial development, and it's been a lot of fun so far. I'm looking forward to what comes after the Mastermind. So the day is finally here. I'm just driving down my road, so don't worry, I'm not on the main road. It is about 7 a.m. The Mastermind kicks off at 9:30. I'm going to get down to the venue for about 8:30. We're having teas and coffees at 9 and just intros, because there'll be some clients in the room and some people who are not clients, so not everyone will know each other. I want to get down a little bit early because I am going to be just setting stuff up. I have a couple of different laptops in case there's any issues with the Mac connection. Just as a backup, I have some tripods and different things for content as well. So gonna fly down the road here and kick off the Galway Mastermind. I told everyone to come a little bit early because traffic can be unpredictable in Galway, and sure enough, traffic in Galway is it's actually predictable. It's not unpredictable. It's very predictable to be busy and slow to get through the city. So I'm currently 15 minutes late to my own Mastermind, but I'm 15 minutes late for the early time that factored in the fact that we might have traffic delays. So I think everyone else is also going to be 15 minutes late. And yeah, we're still, even with 15 minutes late, we're still 15 minutes early, because I got everyone to come 30 minutes early just to be on the safe side. So I'm 15 minutes late and still 15 minutes early. Make that make sense. Good old Galway traffic never changes.
And picked it up a bit, and then next thing it was like he got hit with a ton of bricks.
As soon as I went into the room, I totally forgot to vlog because I got stuck into the day of coaching, and the last vlog was when I left the room about 9 hours later. However, I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into what we covered in the room. As soon as we went in, we had a quick intro, and then we got stuck straight into problem solving the biggest constraints or bottlenecks or problems that coaches had in their business that were stopping their growth. It was a lot of fun. How do we get audience? It's not a trick question. Follow. Okay, yeah, that's one way, sure.
Well, it depends on your content. If it does go viral, you can get followers.
Anything else?
Just showing up in the right place.
Yeah. There's basically three ways that you can get audience. BBB. Any guesses? Buy them. You can buy them, exactly. What else can you do? You're right in what you said. You can borrow them. Good man, Paul. And I'd hazard a guess that you were the least social media man here. Where are my social media aces? You can buy them, you can borrow them, and content, follow, all of that, you can build them. So that's, oh, sorry, I didn't, well, you should know it. Yeah, you can buy them, you can borrow them, you can build them. So that's really like, when we think about right audience, it's like, firstly, we need to know who they are. So who are they? And then we can buy them, we can borrow them, and we can build them. So before we actually look at that, who are they? Jesus, my writing is. So that was good. Like this, I don't know what happened. Who are they? Who are the right audience? That's like that's the first. That should actually be above buy, borrow, build, because like if you know who they are, it's much easier to appeal to them. Right. So let's take, for example, if you coach parents. And you coach parents who, like coaching a stay-at-home mum versus a dad who works 60 hours a week, both parents, but totally different. Now, if you coach parents in general, you might coach both of those people. But you might coach like a specific segment of parents. It might be, you coach dads with, high-performing dads, and then you have to define what that means. Just few thoughts. Who are your target audience, Keane? Who are your, like, if you think of the perfect client?
It's nearly someone like me, like,
Okay.
It's like someone that shares similar interests. Obviously, they like the outdoors, they like getting out, they like that sense of adventure, challenge.
Do they train already?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll be involved in training, yeah. So they want to have a decent enough base of fitness,
Yeah.
And they're not starting, for example, like, so I suppose,
Yeah. So your content then, so like building is going to be content, right? But buying is also going to be content, right? Because you have to buy them with something. You have to buy them with, you're going to promote a video that speaks to them. It's still going to be, you can't really buy them without content unless you're like buying somebody's email list, which, we're probably not doing realistically. It's going to be like some piece of content. Again, borrow is going to be like collaborations, So when you all walked in this morning, one of the first things I said to you was, by the way, if you take a couple of pictures and videos or whatever and post them and tag me and share them, I'll give you a free one-to-one call. I'm borrowing your audience, because and in exchange, I'm giving you some value. That's actually just a very basic collaboration. It's like, hey, you do this for me, I'll do this for you. Let's collaborate. And if you want to do it, fine. If you don't, there's no pressure. You don't have to do it, but it's just an easy collaboration opportunity. I'm doing a podcast tomorrow, actually, in Offaly. I have to go to Offaly because he only records them in person, so I can't do it online. But that's like borrowing, and I helped him with some stuff in exchange for getting on his podcast, and he's a little bit of a following or whatever as well. And he's doing it with like good production quality and all that, collaborating. But you kind of need to know who they are, because if you're kind of like looking at what other people are posting and like copying them, and you're working with somebody who is already fit, is already training, you don't want to be creating content about getting started running. They're probably already running. So if you start creating content about, here's how I would get into running, you're not going to attract the person that you want. It's like, here's how I go from running a marathon to 1,000 kilometers. Yeah. That's going to attract the person who's already done a marathon and who's kind of like looking to the next step. So the content is like the kind of, almost like the signal that you're putting out, or the magnet, and if it's very, very relatable to your ideal client, it'll be much easier for them to come into your world as well.
Yeah, and see though as well, if you're kind of looking at like kind of bigger picture, so again thinking long term then of retaining them for a long time. So we could say like, okay, maybe they're athletes already, and they've been maybe strength training, they've been playing some sports, but now they've kind of moved away from that, and they want something new in their training. So then it's like, okay, we can kind of introduce them to endurance, and then within the next year or so we can start building them towards then like that big that bigger event. Did then when you're kind of putting out content like that, so for example then you're kind of speaking to it's a bit more broader, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that sense. So I feel like sometimes that's kind of where I can get wrong, is like, should I narrow it down more specific, or should I kind of try to again, I don't know, speak to that person that maybe starting it, but with the goal of getting to, because you don't want them thinking, okay, I'm going to think of 1,000 kilometers, and then they're not running yet, but it's maybe something that they might explore, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so something that could be useful in that is just like a client journey. So if you take like 12 months, right, this is like this should be 4, right? 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. Let's say, if you got me, could you get me to run 1,000 kilometers in a year with your coaching?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, cool. So I don't run much. I can run 5 kilometers if I really have to. It hurts. I don't love it. But I could do it if I needed to. I train pretty consistently. I eat pretty well overall. So I'm probably I actually am someone who's a good candidate for you, because when you said it at the start, it's like, fuck, you've planted the seed already, right? So you've already started marketing to me without even knowing it. But like, this is month 12, and this is 1,000, Jesus, you'll be able to understand that. 1,000 kilometers. I don't know why 10 is up in the air, but it is. Month 12, 1,000 kilometers. Then, maybe this is, I don't know, a marathon. what's like, if you work backwards from that, what does your program look like? You know, like what would I do before that?
Least specific to more specific. So again, we could just be laying the foundation there. So introducing you to some sort of endurance training, kind of raising that ceiling, and then stacking then onto that. And again, like we can fill these gaps in between them with milestones, like you said. So it could be again like a marathon. It could be again we build into something else, and after that or whatever it is, we kind of break it down with maybe the A. So this 1,000 kilometers is the A goal or whatever. And we might have a few B, C's or whatever along the way to kind of build you up to it. And then, like I said, least specific to more specific things. So as we start to get closer to it, well, first we start building the confidence here at the start earlier on, like when you start doing. So again, you did that first marathon, you're like, oh, you know, that was good. And like, nearly everyone that does a marathon, they're like, okay, I want to sign up for another one. You know, they'll say after they do it, okay, what's next? So again, we kind of have everything then laid out that way, and we can start working towards it. So least specific to more specific.
Yeah, so I would basically create just a 12-month client journey in your head. Not in your head, like write it out, but like just think, obviously it's not going to apply perfectly to every single client, right? Because there'll be some differentiation. If it's, and this is for everyone, right? If you're working with people in fat loss, it might be like, you know, the standard 12-month journey that a client goes on is they go through a 3-month fat loss phase, they go through a 6-week maintenance phase or 8-week maintenance phase, and then they go into like a 9-month gaining phase or whatever that, you know, and that's the 12-month journey. And then your content talks about like the different phases of the journey, and you just, you know, you can even extend that journey. Like, you know, it could be a 2-year journey, but I think 12 months, like if you could keep every client for 12 months, that'd be a really good baseline. And then you will have some clients who stay even longer. And of course you'll have some who drop off too. But if you can have like this 12-month journey or vision that a client can come in here and do, let's just say, you know, marathon. Let's say their starting point is they can currently run 5 to 10 kilometers, gun to their head, but like they don't really want to, right? So me, they could if they needed to. So the first thing might be, right, you know, this first block will get you to a marathon, to your first marathon. And then, you know, it doesn't have to be 4 exact blocks. Maybe it's like 3-4 month blocks if you need a little bit more time. But there's like checkpoints where it's like, if you want to run 1,000 kilometers, you got to come in and you got to, you know, take off a marathon first, see that you're good with that. Then you move to like, I don't know, Ironman or something here. Again, you'll know exactly what it is. Maybe that's a 6-month block in the middle, right, where you do most of the progress, and then you rest up and you recover and you do that. But if you want to keep clients for longer, it's like having future, because clients usually leave because they kind of run out of future. And if you think of, if you have a client or yourself, just use that journey. Like, you know, I talk through stories and I talk through client stories and I share what clients have done well. And obviously that's a good thing to talk about because it kind of shows that picture of the future. So if you notice, I would say here that this is like what you have here is actually a delivery problem, where it's like a retention problem, right? So it's not, we can put a lot of focus into new traffic, new leads, converting them, but what it actually sounds like is the problem is here in retention, where for some reason there's a lot of people dropping off at certain points of the year. And instead of accepting that always happens, we need more people, which is also like, we can accept that too, right? We can accept both these things. One thing is, that always happens. It makes sense for us to focus on having more traffic, more people who know about us, and more leads, right? So that when people are dropping off, we can fill them. But we can also, and I think the big thing here is we should be looking at why people are dropping off and how we can stop that happening and how we can get people bought in to staying over the summer. And so I would say that if you know, are looking for like an annual strategy around May time when people are dropping off, you should be running something internally that's, you know, some sort of a, maybe like a challenge or maybe like an 8-week sprint internally to the gym members where, you know, you're not really changing your delivery massively, but you're giving them an intention of like, we're working towards this thing in the gym, and you're like breathing a bit of life back into them as well. And then also, you know, you want to be marketing to them, because I would imagine a lot of the people who drop off from the classes probably come back to you 6 months later not having results.
People come back like 5 years later.
Okay, so this is
that woman yesterday that I said put her in the strength class rather than she was with me for probably 3 or 4 years. And
So,
so
that's what I would do. I would look at this annual strategy as having like an internal marketing push in like May, right? Where, and again, think about all year, all the conversations when you talk about the mistake that people make of like dropping off in May and coming back exactly where they started, you know, because that's you know, like one of the biggest mistakes I see people making, and the clients who don't get results with me are the people who hop from strategy to strategy. So the people who
I completely agree with you. I'm 100% like.
But you need to sell them on it.
There's probably 2 ways that I could go to 6 figures, and it's probably get 1 guy in for every 5 women I have, or stop that rut in the summer.
Yeah.
Even for 2 months.
So that's, I mean, exactly, because we could spend so much time here, and if we lose them all here, we're like doing extra work. So here is where the focus should be. That rut in the summer, and there's a lot of things that you can do as well. Like we spoke a little bit about money models earlier, but having like annual pricing. Maybe in May you have an offer where if someone pays up front, they get an extra month. So if they pay up front for the year in May, they get an extra month, and now they're locked into actually being there and staying. Or you could just give them a better rate where you say, look, if you commit till the end of the year, you get a slightly reduced rate. And obviously keep your, like, don't undersell yourself or undervalue yourself. But there's lots you can do there in terms of pricing incentives to keep people in for the longer haul.
Like I had a video that went to 1 million, and I got, like, on Facebook went from 2,000 to 42,000 in like 2 days, and it was like playing a slot machine. It was insane. And then after that, I got a few, and then it just dies out.
Yeah.
But I saw it and I was like, right, that's not what I'm chasing, because it was the wrong people as well.
Yeah. Whereas if your content is very, very specific, yes, you might have to pay to boost it or get it in front of the right people, but like you're getting it in front of the right people. And then it can also be got in front of the right people by like, you know, going on podcasts, speaking on stages. And again, like nobody gets brought onto stage to speak about like some silly video or like toasted. Like there's a couple of people, right, who like did it at the very start, who like blew up and, you know, did very, very well. But like the first, you know, the person I'm thinking of who absolutely blew up with recipes, right? Like he was kind of the first person to do it, and he's like the guy for it. But like no one else is getting brought on to talk about how they blow up with recipes. It's like that worked. Anomaly, yeah, exactly. And fair play, like, because he did the reps, like.
Everybody's trying to do that.
Exactly, yeah. So everyone is following what like the outliers have done, and you know it's like if you just get clear on your messaging and who you want to work with, and then focus on getting in front of those people, and that can be physically in person. It can be, you know, there was another guy I spoke with. He just paid me for consulting. I didn't actually work with him, but he was a mobility coach in Sofia working with the Bulgarian market. And I just met him through somebody, and he basically bought consulting hours off me. And he was like trying to sell desk solutions for desk workers. And he was really struggling to sell it on social media, and, you know, no one had the budget, and lots of people were interested, but nobody had any money. And I was just like, you know, asked him a good bit about himself, and he's like, yeah. I was like, how did you get into this? He was like, oh, well, you know, I've always been working in tech myself, and all my friends own tech companies, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, like, why are you not going into your friends' tech companies giving a free talk on this stuff? And he's like, oh, yeah.
So one of the key aspects of growing your business is this ability to find and solve the next problem, and to make sure that you're actually solving the next problem. And it's never that simple, because sometimes you're solving a problem that doesn't really exist, or maybe it exists, but it shouldn't be the highest priority problem. And often coaches and creators don't actually know what the next problem is to solve, and so they spend a ton of time and energy solving the wrong thing. So that's why we spent the first half of the day on problem solving. I think that was the most impactful part of the day. Then we broke for some lunch. After the lunch, we went into a little bit more strategic content around planning our offers and planning out the next 90 days of the year. And we also had a guest speaker, Tony O'Bregan, who's a renowned sports psychologist, ex-athlete in Ireland, who's been an All-Star nominee in his hurling days. He's won All-Irelands. He's captained Galway teams. He won a minor All-Ireland. He's captained Galway teams to All-Ireland finals. He's worked with executives and high-level business owners for the last 15 years. And he gave an incredible talk as well. So have a look, check it out. I'll see you soon. Offers the little paid product that I showed you guys, the €7 product. For me, that actually sits right at the start because I can bring somebody into my world, and the product that they purchase pays for the ads, so the ads are basically free. Then I've got the lead offer, which is basically identifying interested people from my audience, which is the video, which sits here. So this is free, there's no charge, except to exchange an email in exchange for the value. And then the core offer is made in here. Now, also I'm kind of making core offers just in life as well, if I meet people or on social media too. But this is kind of the whole machine, and you can get it down to a point where these run automatically. It takes time, it's not going to happen overnight, but these things can run automatically, bringing people in, joining the email list, because when someone buys here, yes, they've purchased, but they also want the email list. And then automatically, they're made this offer. Even if they've gone here, if they don't watch this video, if they don't watch this video, by the way, to get on the email list, I'll send them that video in the email anyway. So they'll still watch that video because there's a sales pitch in it. So they'll still end up basically going through the sequence just in a slightly different direction. And then the client offer is like, what extra level of service can I provide to my clients? Or group coaching. If someone has worked with me one-to-one for a long time and they still want support but they don't want as much, can I offer them a lighter option where they can still have support? Can I collaborate with them in some way that works for them and works for me? Where they get a lot of value, I get a lot of value, we can continue working in some capacity. So instead of just being like, I have this one thing and that's it, take it or leave it, it's like, well, let's find what actually works, because we can be fluid in these things as well. So what should you be working on? This is how we got here. So basically, for you, Alan, right, daily strategy and tasks, where you should, the next step for you is probably this video. Because you already have the email list, right? And you are just offering people to the email list. And they're joining the email list, but there isn't like a sales asset there. It's just, here's the link, join the list, which is fine, I started with that as well. But if you had a 30-minute video that explained your methods and explained how to get a specific result in a specific period of time, and you're like, hey, go to the link in my bio, there's a video there that you will get absolutely free that breaks down X, Y, and Z and how to achieve this. People would then join the email list and they would go through this, and it would increase consumption of your coaching methods or your coaching ideas or how you can help people. So that's probably the next thing that you could build. The other thing, like Haley mentioned there, is creating valuable assets for your clients, right? So the paid product, the 4-figure offer formula, which I sell on the front end up here, I created that off the back of a discussion with Michael in the group, and it was valuable for everyone in the group, but it was me directly solving a client problem, and I was like, okay, I've solved this problem for my client, it's worked, I shared it with other clients, it's worked, it's been valuable. So when you find something like that, firstly, creating things like that is always a good use of time, because aside from like the fact that you can paid advertise them, if you just have them, you can offer them out to your social media, your organic social media, and you can give them out there. And what we're really looking for is micro offers, so small paid offers that work really well, because there's no point in automating something that doesn't work, right? It's like you have to kind of go through a testing process to find things that work. And when you automate things, especially if you send them to cold audience, who are people who don't yet know, like, and trust you, the likelihood of them buying is a lot lower.
And when you make that initial thing, and as Owen said, put it in the calendar and just speak about it, boom, like you're already in that zone where we're after breaking through that edge, we're after breaking through that limit, and that's exciting. Then you're, new ideas are starting to generate, new capacities are starting to come out of you, new belief systems are starting to form. And now you're moving towards that type of coach that you feel you can get to on that level. So, you know, if we're always just doing the same program, the same thing, and living the same life and doing the same routine, and it's comfortable and safe, I think you'll stagnate and you get bored yourself. So that's probably why I've diversified as well. Like, it's easy for me to stay in sport because I know it so well and I know the conversations, whatever, but that's limiting for me too. So going into an environment and workplace where there's CEOs with 20 years more experience than me, probably better financial and marketing and conversations and leading teams, and actually stepping into that discomfort and, you know, backing myself, that's where I get a real kind of edge as well, and feel I have to prepare for it really well to do that. So I would say, you know, if opportunities come, say yes to them. If they're feeling a bit awkward and a bit uncomfortable, you're in the right spot, and that's to remind yourself. And like those nerves, that excitement, that discomfort, you know, remind yourself that's just your mind and body getting ready to prepare for, you know, your next growth and your next piece. So that's a critical thing, and that can often just stop people straight away because, geez, it must be the right thing. I don't feel right internally about it. But, you know, I've been, you know, in stadiums with 82,000 people, and you never feel right in those places either. You know, your nerves are actually, I've times driving into Croke Park and like a couple of 100,000 people either side the bus, and your system is screaming, geez, I'd love to be out of this bus now and not have to go in and play this match. And you have to talk to yourself in a compassionate way, in a helpful way, and, you know, get through that. And then on the other side of that then is the reward. And when you do overcome your own internal, there's just a huge growth and a huge capacity in yourself. So, you know, I would say welcome those little nudges we get internally, welcome those discomfortable feelings. You're probably in the right place, and it's just to accept that they'll be there, acknowledge them, and then saying, okay, it's not going to stop me making one action in this moment to move me ahead.
So I'm just going to collect the car after a phenomenal day at the Galway Mastermind. What a massive success. I didn't really vlog much, to be honest, but I got tons of content, which you've probably actually seen by now. Now I'm going to go and find my car because I have to go for a dinner, but that was absolutely phenomenal. Like, honestly, what a day. The value in the room was insane. The feedback was insane. The engagement was insane. We went at it for like 9 hours, and, you know, right up until 6 o'clock, people were just still at it. Like, they were still locked in. I couldn't believe it. I could believe it, actually. I knew it would be amazing, but yeah, I'm just blown away. Now I can't find my car. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Amazing. That was pure pot luck. I had no idea where it would be. But yeah, just a phenomenal day overall. I cannot wait to do it again. Honestly, cannot wait to do it again. If you want to be kept up to date on the next Irish Mastermind, or even actually the next international Mastermind, just let me know. And yeah, if you want to be kept up to date on what's happening in my world, you can join my email list, which is where I go deep on all of the concepts we discussed in the Mastermind. The link will be somewhere below the video.